What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And in this video we will talk about some very exciting news, namely that Liverpool want to sign the next Robben, the next big talent coming out from Africa, a Villarreal winger who scored 9 goals in all competitions last season, and he has a deadly left foot. So we will talk about this 20-year-old very exciting young talent. And also Virgil van Dijk signed a new 6-year contract. Can you believe it? Virgil van Dijk will be at Liverpool until 2025 unless something of a disaster happens and he wants to leave, and his wages was bumped up by a significant margin, so we will talk in detail about that. And also Wijnaldum gave a very interesting interview about the ambitions of Liverpool this season, so stay tuned and watch the video until the end because there is a lot of brand new information. And if you guys enjoy these Liverpool news videos, please leave a like, and also I will be having a brand new career mode video out later today, so stay tuned for that. And according to Goals Neil Jones, Liverpool are eyeing up the Villarreal winger who is called Samuel Chukwueze in the January transfer window. This guy already had a full season at Villarreal, scoring 5 goals in La Liga and 9 goals in all competitions. And as a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old, it's very exciting. I think he turned 20 last season. And actually, Liverpool are looking to get him in the January transfer window because Jurgen Klopp didn't add to his squad. And this guy, even though he is a midfielder, a winger, he could play on the right side or in the place of one of our attacking midfielders. He could play in the navigator role, if you like. And this guy is full of pace, full of skill, and he also has a majestic left foot. I watched highlights on YouTube, which of course can be deceiving, but this has a this guy has a very exciting talent, and also he is not shy to get on the ball, as the stats show that in his first 2 games in La Liga he had 10 shots in total and completed 5 of his 10 dribble attempts. And this is what Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer said of Chukwueze last season. He has just been called up into the senior Nigeria national team, and he has previously won the under 2017 World Cup with Nigeria in 2015. Only 19 years old, and that La Liga side Villarreal. Chukwueze is an attacking midfielder who can play in both wide areas, and his dribbling ability is unbelievable. He has already scored in the league and the cup, and you have a player who is new and exciting to watch. And since then he played in the Africa Cup of Nations, and he actually scored a goal in the tournament for Nigeria, even though Nigeria didn't really go far. And with his ability and his eye for goal, he has previously said that he admires Robben's qualities. And even one user online said that he is the reincarnation of Robben because of the similar playing styles, that he loves to play on the right and cut inside on his left foot and curl in a shot into the far corner, just like Robben in his prime. And Chukwueze has bags of pace and a gentle touch, 2 things that are very important for a winger. And also he has 2 assists last season in Spain and 5 goals, which is not a lot, but you have to consider that he's just a 19-year-old kid last season. This season I think he will have an even more prolific season, scoring probably around 10 goals in La Liga, and he is exactly the type of player that Jurgen Klopp loves to go for. He is young, he has crazy huge potential, and he has shown an ability to play in several positions. So he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play behind the striker, and even maybe as a striker as well. And he has the pace to frighten any opposition defense. And Neil Jones is writing that Liverpool are already scouting Chukwueze since last season. This is what he said. The scouts are already circulating. Liverpool are among those who have been alerted by his progress over the last 12 months. And the expectation is that he will move on sooner rather than later. So Villarreal is a selling club. They can't really sustain the wages of a young superstar who outgrows them, and I think they will sell him on for a big profit very soon. But at the moment I think we should watch Villarreal games, especially the highlights, and just to see how he does. He looks like a very exciting, talented player, and in this respect he could be an interesting option when Mo Salah needs a rest, although he's obviously got a very long way to go before he can even be considered as a rotation option for Mo Salah. But Jurgen Klopp's decision not to invest in first team recruitments so far looks like the right one, because you know, we have quite a lot of players who can play in those positions in reserve. But the fact that we loaned out Harry Wilson, we loaned out Ryan Kent, and we sold Daniel Sturridge, I think that we have room for one more attacker, because yes, we have Divock Origi who can play on the left or up front. Yes, we have Xherdan Shaqiri or Oxlade-Chamberlain who can play on the right wing instead of Mo Salah. But they are different kind of players, and even when Liverpool were linked with Nicolas Pepe and other players, I said multiple times during the summer that Liverpool need a player who, when he comes in instead of Salah or instead of Mane when they need a rest, Liverpool don't have to alter their tactics too much, their playing style too much. And Chukwueze has bags of pace, and a great finishing. So I think that when he is in the team, Liverpool can play a similar playing style. So I think it's a little bit too early to tell whether Jurgen Klopp was right in not spending any money in the summer, because the fixture pile-up will start right now after the international break is over. But the good news is that Salah and Mane got a good 2 weeks rest because of no international games for Egypt or for Senegal. So I think they needed a big rest after the summer Africa Cup of Nations, and after Mane only having like a 2-week holiday between the African Cup of Nations final and the pre-season. And Chukwueze actually gave an interview during the Africa Cup of Nations on his future. This is what he said: "I just keep my head focused on my career. I don't want any distraction from my football. Coverage in the media is good, but my focus is on my football. I just want to keep on working hard and continue to improve. Me generating coverage in the media does not get into my head." So he has the right attitude. He doesn't really focus on the media hype around him, and I think this is a good move. And actually Chukwueze came through the Villarreal youth teams. He was signed from an African academy called the Diamond Academy to Villarreal, and he played in the Villarreal B team for some time. And Don Hutchinson has offered his opinion. He is a pundit working for ESPN, and this is what he said about Chukwueze: "What a player, mate. English clubs won't have the balls to go for him. I've told loads of scouts, coaches about him going right to the top." I'm not sure if it's about balls. I think it's about not going for a player who only had one season in La Liga. I think top English clubs probably need more evidence that Chukwueze can cut it in the Premier League, but he certainly has the pace and the physicality to cope with the Premier League. But I think his decision making needs to improve at the moment. If he can score more goals, I mean 8 goals in his first senior season is pretty impressive. 9 goals if you count the goal at the Africa Cup of Nations. But he has a buyout clause of £54 million, which is an awful lot of money for a pretty unproven 20-year-old winger. But if he has another great season in La Liga, I'm sure that many clubs will be interested in him, and one of them will be Liverpool. So I will keep a close eye on Chukwueze, and I will keep you updated. But this is certainly one player that I think we can put on the transfer wish list for the January transfer window. So let me know what you think. And Virgil van Dijk has agreed a massive new contract at Liverpool according to the Mirror newspaper. And according to them, it's because Manchester United signed Harry Maguire for huge money. But I think it's nothing to do with it. It's because Van Dijk earned only 125k weekly wages, and I think him being one of the best centre-backs in world football and one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, I think his salary needed to reflect that. Van Dijk's current deal was not due to expire until 2023 because he only signed his first Liverpool contract 20 months ago, but the fresh terms will give him a considerable uplift on the 125k weekly wages, because according to the reports, the wages of Van Dijk will be 200,000 per week, and I think that reflects him being one of the best players in the Premier League. And I think Van Dijk needed a wage rise if we want to keep him happy and keep him at the club. And I think it's crucial to keep him at the club, because Van Dijk could play at the top of his game for the next 5 years, and Liverpool can win a lot of trophies with Van Dijk in the team. So I think this is a very important contract, and it's like basically a big new signing, because this basically guarantees Van Dijk spending his best years at Liverpool, his best footballing years at Liverpool, and that's brilliant. And this is what Van Dijk said in a recent interview: "The only thing I want to do is focus and get better. There are still plenty of things to improve with the team and with myself, and that's the only thing I want to do. The main thing is to try to put it in your head that we all start from the bottom this season. We won the Champions League last year, obviously, but it doesn't count right now. We start from the bottom. That's how it is, because that's the reality. If we all keep that in our minds, then we should be fine." And Virgil van Dijk also spoke about the 4-0 victory against Barcelona. "If you have it in your mind, then anything is possible. We have plenty of quality players that can make a difference throughout the 90+ minutes. We should believe at all times." That's definitely something we try to put in our heads and keep in our heads. We have to keep doing that. I'm a part of a bit of a history already with Liverpool winning the Champions League, and hopefully we can just keep making history. I just want to be remembered as a fantastic player who gave everything for the team and enjoyed every bit of it. And I think that's a brilliant interview by Van Dijk, and shows that he is hungry and he has the right mentality of winners, that you don't dwell on past success and you always set new goals and strive for better and bigger things. And Wijnaldum also gave a very interesting interview, and I want to tell you guys, because I think he has some very good points. This is what Wijnaldum said: "Winning the Champions League has given us all peace of mind. Now we know what it's like to win the biggest trophy of them all, and we just want to keep going from here and add even more titles." But Jurgen Klopp is not putting extreme pressure on us to win the Premier League. He does not tell us, now you must win this or that trophy. He's very relaxed. He did not do that during the past season either. His idea is that we get the maximum out of every individual every single day that we are together, and then we will see where that brings us at the end of the season. Just look at the list of world-class players who have not won the Champions League during their whole careers. It contains more famous names than you would think, and it tells you that it is really special we have won it with Liverpool. Just to name two players, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Gianluigi Buffon. And it's very surprising that they have never won the Champions League. Ibrahimovic has been at many clubs throughout his career, and the Champions League always eluded him. Same with Buffon. He has been at Juventus almost all of his career, and then for one season he went to PSG, but he never won the Champions League. That's the big trophy that is missing from his cabinet. And Wijnaldum also talked about Van Dijk. He said, "I was not surprised when Virgil won the UEFA Best Player award ahead of Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I actually expected him to win it. Virgil has had a blinder of a season, and he has been so successful. Nothing about him surprises me anymore." So it's a brilliant interview and a great sentiments by Wijnaldum, great mentality that he has, as well. And Andrew Robertson also gave a very interesting interview about the special feeling at becoming the first Scotsman to ever be nominated for the FIFA FIFPro Men's World 11. He said, "I'm one of the 55, probably the biggest squad I've ever been involved in. Look, it's obviously a massive thing for me, but let's see if I get in the 11 or not. Even to be nominated alongside the players there is a special feeling. To have 6 of your teammates in there is really good too as well." So what a turnaround for Liverpool now, that Liverpool have 7 players nominated in basically the 50 best players in the world. And I think the 11 players who received the highest number of votes in each respective position will form the World 11, which will be revealed on September the 23rd at the Best FIFA Football Awards in Milan. So I think it's a kind of a popularity contest among the fans, and I'm not sure the best players will win in each position, but probably the most popular players among the fans. And Andrew Robertson gave a very different interview when Scotland lost to Russia after being 1-0 up, and that was a devastating blow to Scotland's already faint hopes of qualifying for Euro 2020. And this is what Andy Robertson said: "There's frustration, annoyance, everything that goes along with it. You can feel it from the stands, and we have only got ourselves to blame for that. They've got every right. It wasn't good enough. First 15 minutes I thought we were good, got the goal, and it was as if it scared us. I've never seen anything like that before. That needs to change. If we go into a lead, it should be a positive, not a negative. I'm annoyed with everything. My performance, what the rest of the lads done, all of us, except David Marshall really, who was the goalkeeper, I think. To have 10 players from the start not really showing up and putting in the performances we can is never going to win you a game of football. It was a mixture of things. Maybe we lacked a bit of belief, and that is not acceptable. We have got to believe we can go and make it 2-0 and 3-0, because if we don't do that, then we are not going to make any tournaments. We know we are capable in there, and that is the frustrating thing. All the boys are gutted. We know we have messed up, and we know what we have to improve on. And if it happens again, hopefully we will be in a better position to solve it. So yeah, it was very weird that Scotland took the lead, and then they were just afraid to attack anymore. Maybe they thought if they sit back, Russia won't be able to score any goals, but Russia is a better team than Scotland, so it's a pretty suicidal tactic to do that against a Russian team who are pretty well capable of beating Scotland if they get the chance. And Michael Owen has been stirring up a lot of controversy with his new book, which is getting serialized in the media. And he actually said a lot of interesting things about Liverpool fans. So I wanted to tell you what he said in his book. Not surprisingly, and I quote Michael Owen here, "I get a huge amount of abuse from what I suspect is a minority of Liverpool fans who think that because I played for a rival club, Manchester United, I shouldn't even be a Liverpool ambassador in the first place. That, I'm afraid, is fan-centric nonsense. Not just that, when I go through my memory banks, recounting all the great moments I enjoyed with the fans and my fellow players, these opinions sting. My record at Liverpool is a good one. I won trophies there, scored goals, won 2 golden boots there, lifted the Ballon d'Or. I played for the club on 297 occasions. I went in there where it hurts for the club on countless more instances. How does playing for a rival club negate any of that? It doesn't. To think that way is just delusional, and even worse, while fans are happy to question my credentials, you've got guys hanging around." I don't think it's delusional. I think that's how English football is. You can't sign for a rival club if you want to be respected by the Liverpool fans. And Michael Owen, in many eyes of Liverpool fans, he was a Liverpool legend. He won a lot of trophies at Liverpool, and he won the Ballon d'Or as a Liverpool player. And then to go to Real Madrid on a free transfer was already a very controversial move that really angered many Liverpool fans, because Michael Owen could have netted Liverpool a big transfer fee, but he decided to run down his contract, and that already angered Liverpool fans. But then to go back to Newcastle and then to Manchester United, I mean, that really angered Liverpool fans, including myself, because Michael Owen was one of my heroes growing up as a Liverpool fan. He was the first like big striker that I fell in love with at Liverpool, and to see him in a Manchester United shirt and to score goals for Man United, some of the criticism is justified. It's not like in other countries, in Germany, in Italy, it's more accepted that players go for rival clubs and sign for rival clubs. But in England, it's not really accepted, and Michael Owen really should have known that. That's just my comment on it. And Michael Owen continued, in my daily life, I don't shy away from going anywhere. I go to restaurants, pubs, racecourses, football grounds. I have done so for years, and I will continue to. I can count on one hand the number of times that anyone has come up to me and given me a hard time about whatever football clubs I've played for, or being abusive about so-called loyalty or challenge my views on this or that. In the real world, it doesn't happen. On the internet, however, it's a total free-for-all. Yes, because on the internet, people are a lot braver and a lot more loose because it's anonymous. So Michael Owen really should expect that. And it clearly upsets him, but that's just how English football is. You can't, I mean, can you imagine if Steven Gerrard went and signed for Manchester United? He would have tarnished his legacy, and that's exactly what Michael Owen has done. But that's just my thought. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Goodbye.